So with all that being said, let's go ahead and take it out for a drive. Hello everyone, it's Rocco from Rocco Reviews. As you can see behind me is a very different setup. I haven't done this since 2016, so it's been a long time. Bear with me here. It's also raining here in California. Unfortunately, it's just out of nowhere starts raining. That's how it is here. I'm going to be talking about the 2025 Toyota Camry. Now, I've had two Camrys in the past. You guys know. I've had my 2002 Camry, and I had my 2013 hybrid Camry. But just yesterday, at 7 p.m. Pacific time, so my time, Toyota unveiled the new 9th Gen XV80 Toyota Camry. Now, it's a little bit of a disappointment, and I'll get to that, and I'll try and get my hands on one as soon as it makes it to dealership lots here in the United States. It'd be excellent to test one out. As you know, I just recently reviewed a 2023 or 24 Camry SE, and I loved that car. I had it for 5 weeks as a service loaner, and it was amazing. The 8th Gen Camry is my favorite Camry as far as looks go, but this 9th Gen Camry is starting to grow on me, so I'll explain. With the new Camry, let's start on the business end of the Camry. Powering the all-new Camry, I'll talk about that in a bit, why I put it in air quotes, is Toyota's corporate 2.5-liter Dynamic Force A25A FXS engine, paired to Toyota's Series Parallel Hybrid Synergy drive system with a planetary gear set, is the only powertrain option. So no more V6, no more 2.5-liter with the 8-speed, that's all gone. Now we have this hybrid system, and that makes 225 horsepower and front-wheel drive trim, and now it has all-wheel drive, 232 horsepower, which is fairly respectable, and it's better than the Honda Accord hybrid. So that's good if you're looking for a hybrid car that has decent power and all-wheel drive. The Camry is your only option. Now, the all-wheel drive system will be available at launch. However, it is an all-wheel drive system because it's a hybrid. So it's not the mechanical system like we saw in the outgoing model, which pairs the 2.5-liter to a mechanical all-wheel drive system. And so this new hybrid, there's a chance you might get stuck in places that your old Camry didn't get you stuck. Keep that in mind. As mentioned earlier, the 2.5-liter hybrid is the only engine option. But we suspect maybe a hybrid max will be coming soon, which would be awesome to take the powertrain out of the Crown Platinum, or even the NX450H Plus's powertrain, which it pulls from the RAV4 Prime. It'd be really cool to see a plug-in hybrid super fast Camry, especially because we had the Camry V6 before, which made 301 horsepower, and now we don't have it anymore. No MPG figures have been announced yet. Now moving on to the styling of the Camry. This is where I feel like Toyota didn't go far enough. Here's why. The 8th Gen Camry is my favorite Camry to date. Favorite looking Camry by far. This new 9th Gen isn't much of a redesign as I thought it was going to be. This is more of a refresh. This is more of a refresh than even the 2015 XV80 Camry, which was an emergency refresh to the 2012 to 2014 and a half Camry, which I have, or it's still technically here, but I gave it to my mom. It's more of a refresh than the emergency refresh in 2015. The 2015 model shared the roof and the mirrors and then the dashboard and engine compartment with the 2012 to 2014 and a half Camry. This new generation XV80 shares doors, front fenders, a roof line, what seems like half a trunk, and side sills. The interior, it also shares a lot of the same stuff on the interior. The 2015 model looked like it could be a whole new generation, but not this one. I just don't know. Well, tell me in the comments down below what you guys think of this new Camry. I honestly think it's a little bit boring. I feel like it didn't go far enough. What I mean by boring, I do like the hammerhead front end. I think that's pretty cool, right? I like the back, but it kind of looks the same as the old one. Now, it's not necessarily a bad thing. If I was Toyota, I wouldn't want to make a car, call it a new generation, and just take the old one and retrofit the Prius front end onto it. It just doesn't something about it just doesn't look right. I want it to be, I want the new look across the board. Have it be sporty and exciting and bold. Because the old one, if you take the old front end and pair it, with the doors and stuff, basically the old generation, it looks fantastic and sporty, and I love it. Especially the XSE, if you get it in the Nightshade package, it looks beautiful. But this new one, it looks like they didn't go far enough. It looks like they just kind of hacked on the Crown's front end and trunk. And I don't like that. I don't know. I'm gonna have to see one in person. I'm gonna reserve judgment until I see one in person. Preferably an LE or SE in something close to a body in white, because seeing what Toyota has announced with the XSE and XLE trims, although they look really nice, you don't get a good idea for the overall design, the sculpture of the car. The 2023 SE that I had for a month looked beautiful in celestial silver metallic, and it was very close to a body in white kind of thing, and it was very sporty, kind of sophisticated. It looked cool, but this new one, they took a less sharp, even though it's kind of a sharper front end, it doesn't have like all the same cuts in it as the old one did. And then they took the old doors, and then they kind of revamped the trunk and put it all together, and it looks like it should just be a sporty, sharp car, with hard body lines, maybe a little more squared, because the interior is more squared. The interior takes the old interior and then revamps it to kind of fit the Toyota lineup pretty well, but the exterior doesn't. The doors should be sharp with hard lines and look interesting, but it doesn't. And I think the LE model is going to look really boring, which is unfortunate, because the LE model currently on the 2024 Camry, I think, looks fantastic. So leave comments down below of what you think. This new Camry does come with Toyota Safety Sense 3.0 now, or TSS3. Thankfully, the last one I drove had TSS 2.5, and it was good, but it wasn't everything that makes TSS 3 great. TSS 3 includes the pre-collision system with pedestrian detection, full speed range dynamic radar cruise control, lane departure alert with steering assist, lane tracing assist, road sign assist, automatic high beams, blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, and proactive driving assist standard across the board. That is fantastic. One of my complaints with the 2024 model was that it didn't get blind spot monitoring or rear cross traffic alert standard. It also didn't have road sign detection either, except for the speed limit, and that just wasn't. It didn't give me everything. I would expect that if the car has all the tech features, that it would give you all of it as standard, especially if you're trying to push the safety thing. But now it's finally standard. Toyota has caught up. The funny thing is that blind spot monitoring came out in 2012. You can get a 2012 Camry, like my Camry. You're able to get that with blind spot monitoring. And then they kept it in option all the way to 2024. I feel like that's kind of crazy. I feel like 2021, when they refreshed the Camry, that they should have made a standard. But hey, better late than ever, I guess. If you get an XLE or XSE model, it adds traffic jam assist if you have a subscription, front cross traffic alert, which is new, lane change assist, panoramic view monitor, so it'll be like the 360 camera, and front and rear parking assist with automatic braking. So that means you let off the brake and it'll slow down to a stop as it's backing up parking for you, which is great, because before you had to modulate with the brake, now it'll do that for you. It just won't change the gears for you because it still uses the cable shifter. I'll talk about that. For the 2025 model, a 7-inch digital gauge cluster comes standard on LE and SE models. And I'm going to assume, because Toyota hasn't said for sure, that it's going to be the same cluster that you find in the XLE and XSE models of the last generation. Because Toyota says that the XLE and XSE models will come standard with a 12.3-inch fully digital gauge cluster. So I'm going to guess that it's just going to be 2 analog gauges and a 7-inch helper screen, but we'll find out when it gets here. XLE and XSE grades also come with an available 10-inch heads-up display to allow drivers to check their speed, navigations, and all that sort of stuff. The new Toyota Connected Services multimedia system in the Camry LE and SE have an 8-inch touchscreen display or an available 12.3-inch touchscreen display, which you'll find standard on the XLE and XSE models. That's the same one that you'll find in cars like the new RAV4, the Tundra, the Tacoma, the Prius, the NX, those cars. It now comes standard with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is fantastic. The Camry also comes standard now with Qi wireless charging, which means you could take your phone, put it down, charge it. So you'll be able to charge it wirelessly and have wireless Apple CarPlay or Android Auto like I do. The Camry also has standard USB-A and C ports, which is fantastic. 3 in the front and 2 in the back across all the trim levels. That means your passengers can charge their devices. The Camry's interior also has enhanced seat comfort. They changed the shape of the seats just a little bit, and they increased the cushion length as well. The headrest was also slightly softened and moved backwards to enhance head comfort, like when you're driving on long road trips. The XLE and XSE grades will be available with front heated seats and front ventilated seats. I believe the last year's model, you could not get ventilated seats on a Camry, so that's great. The XLE and XSE model will also have a quieter cabin thanks to front side double paned glass, just like you'd find on the Lexus models. Only difference is it'll only be on the front 2 windows, not the back windows, just to help improve NVH a little bit. For, of course, you're paying nearly $40,000 for these Camrys, which that's what I guess the pricing is going to be, because pricing hasn't been announced yet. But the old one, $37,000 would be your top trim. So don't be surprised if these push over 40. So finally, double paned glass on these Toyota models. Being a hybrid, these new Camrys also have the smart key access system. Now, being someone who's had good experience with these Toyota smart key systems, they work okay. I am still more of a fan of a physical key, and I just don't... The smart key access system is good. Maybe it's because I'm used to ignition keyed cars, but I still find myself pulling the key out for a smart key anyway and unlocking it. I just don't have the same trust in it, but Toyota's been using it for a long time, and it's a very reliable system. But it's kind of a person-by-person basis whether or not they actually like it. If you don't, you can always pull the key out of your pocket, hit unlock. That's still there. The XLE and XSE grades will also offer memory seats for the front driver's seat and memory side view mirrors, which is fantastic. The XLE and XSE models have available automatic rain sensing wipers, which I feel like that's something that should have been in the last generation. And for the first time on a Camry hybrid, the LE and XSE grades will have the option of a power tilt and sliding panoramic roof. Finally. Pricing and availability has not yet been announced, but the new Camry will hit dealer lots in spring of 2024, which is great, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it. Now, to go back to the styling, because this is the most controversial part of the car, and I really want to talk about this more. Now, going back to the styling, because this is the controversial part of the car, and I want to talk about this more. As I said earlier, this one shares doors, front fenders, side sills, and on the interior, it still uses a cable shifter. It keeps the overall same look, but the dash has been heavily revised to fit the new touchscreen display and fit in with the new brand identity that Toyota has. A lot of the switch gears remain the same as well, like the switches on the left-hand side by the driver's footwell, and the controls in the middle for the shifter, parking brake, and drive modes. It seemed that Toyota essentially retrofitted their hammerhead front fascia onto the existing Camry, resculpted the back to make it match with the new design, and changed up the interior. I feel they didn't go far enough. This kind of reminds me of what Mini did with the F56 Cooper that's literally been around since 2014. That car's going on 11 years, and it reminds me of what they did, except Mini has done a good job at keeping it modern and actually making it look like the new G56, something that Toyota hasn't seemed to do very well here. Also reminds you what Fiat did as well with the 500X crossover, trying to make it look like the new 500e model, which I thought was interesting. I'm not actually sure how you think that car looks. I'm going to review one at some point, but I digress. I can't wait to actually get my hands on this new Camry, though. When it hits dealer lots, it'd be nice to check one out. Again, I'd like to see one that's probably in white or silver, something where I can actually get a full picture for the design of the car, one that doesn't have like all the body color stuff for all the black stuff, just the simple sculpted body. So an LE or an SE would be a great one for me to look at. Those will probably be the cars that arrive first, so I'll actually be able to get my hands on those. It would just be nice to see what the full design looks like, get a full idea for it, because the old one looked great. Something tells me the LE is going to look a little bit like a fleet car. I can just tell by looking at it. It's like they're going to take a fleet car and make it look somewhat interesting. And I feel like the LE of last year actually looked really nice. So hopefully this new LE model and SE, this new Camry, just as a whole, the LE and SE model, which most people like to buy, hopefully it looks good. Anyways, that'll be all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for when I actually get to check out the Camry, which will be in a few months. And with all that being said, hope you enjoyed the video, and stay tuned for the next one.